Right. So, as part of our learning towards artificial intelligence and as well as generative AI, in the last session, I have discussed about the importance of artificial intelligence, machine learning, followed by this, how this generative AI transformation can be taken place in the real world. Today, I'm going to discuss about a case study because as in when as part of our learning, right? So as part of you people were enrolled, uh, you need to understand the case study based learning. This is essentially important because when we are transforming our career towards or transforming our career towards artificial intelligence and machine learning capabilities by implementing generative AI, all that. It's always important for us to understand the scenarios. What are the different scenarios we have and how these scenarios can be implemented. So implementation we'll be discussing in tomorrow's session, right? So in the next session we'll be discussing. Today I'm going to explain you about what exactly the case study we have taken. So as far as the case study we have taken for an industry which is of property and casualty insurance. You know, property and casualty insurance is widely providing services to different customers, right? So either in field of uh, marine, at the same time life annuity, general insurance, motor vehicle insurance, heavy motor vehicles, all the commercial lines. So here we need to understand the scenario-based learning because scenario-based learning, as far as artificial intelligence and generative AI, is important as far as the career enhancements as well as the career transformation is concerned. So, first of all, we need to understand three basic things. One is about the business challenge we need to know. Second, we must be knowing about the transformation part. The third thing we need to know about what are the final outcomes, which are we expecting as part of implementing our generative AI in the organization level. So, when it comes to the business challenge, as I stated, so this is one of the leading US-based property and casualty insurance company wherein their idea is to transform their technology to the more advanced level so that they wants to help in balancing whatever the required business needs in near times, may not be now, maybe in near times, whatever the business needs they wants to they may face now as well as in near times against to the challenges which they may be facing in industry, because when there is any improvement in context to the business expansions are concerned, there are a lot of resources in terms of manpower and financial resources will be of more important. So from the organization level, why are we moving towards artificial intelligence and generative AI? Is to reduce two things. One is about the manpower effort that are required manual intervention, which is to be invested, followed by this, the cost, which is involved. Predominantly, when we are using manpower, automatically cost will also be involved so that they wants to reduce, right? So they wants to minimize or they wants to control, I can say. I don't say, see, cost reduction 100% to an extent possible is not something always feasible. But limiting the cost is always one of the key and important industry challenge nowadays organizations are facing, so that they wants to reduce the cost. At the same time, they want to be more competitive with their customers and competitors. At the same time, they wants to manage whatever the different ever changing regulatory standards, policies and procedures that are happening in the industry. At the same time, they wants to implement different economic uncertainties, right? So they want to address different economic uncertainties, like to meet the customer service expectations. This is what generally one of the core and important business challenge an organization is facing. Now, to keep up these changing in demands, organization wants to integrate a generative AI capabilities. So to implement this generative AI capabilities and all, wherein they wants to support their application development team and as well as onboarding a new talent team and all. Because the earlier environment, because migration is something which normally they wants to do, they are planning for. So earlier old legacy application mainframes, either it can be COBOL, assembly level, JCLs, IBM system environment, and they wants to improve the developer productivity because enhancing and moving on to the next level is always essentially important, which organization always strive to see. So they wants to improve developer productivity while mitigating different potential misreportations to the insurance service offices. Right. So at the same time, they want whatever the industry policies and rating organizations, right? So company wants to have some kind of permanent solutions by implementing artificial intelligence, machine learning, and generative AI in this. So any organization is facing a business challenge. The next level is about the transformation. How are we transforming to the next level is important. Now, when it comes to the transformation itself is concerned, you need to have some long-term partnership with some technical vendor team so that whatever the required consulting services which are helpful in delivering important innovations, or if you want to accelerate your business results and all, company wants some team across managing services to address the key strategic initiatives and all. So in this process of transformation, a team of 16 application developers collaborated with some engineering team. I'm talking about AI engineering team. So it's a kind of initially it's a pilot project initially to start with. So once the pilot project is succeeded, then 100% implementation they are planning. Okay, so they want to implement an 8-week pilot project using uh, generative AI solutions. Okay, so different generative AI tools like artificial intelligence tools now and then we are using, because in the last session even I told you, right, something like Python, PyTorch, TensorFlow, different AI tools are we using nowadays. So in this regard, it's always important for us to implement the generative AI tools deployed on the cloud environment so that company can simplify the explanation of the documentation even by documentation of the code by understanding how the code has to be understood faster, resulting in reducing the efforts. So in a single click, this is something which they wants to come out of the manual research based on the manual research which they have made so far. So as long as the transformation process is going on, so whatever the AI code assistance of understanding towards application level, wherein by performing different analysis and as well as generating reports by identifying the impact of code changes, everything something which organization is expecting. This is what generally the transformation is something which we talk about. Now, once the transformation is done, the next about the outcomes, right? So what final outcome an organization wants to see. If you see the outcome, if you see here, normally the kind of project they wants to implement, AI solutions, especially by implementing AI code assistance for Jet Cloud, improving for overall developer productivity, wherein by implementing these in the cloud environment, because now and then the transformation of these things can leads to cloud AI capabilities, so that company can save somewhere around 150 hours of time. At the same time, they can decrease 30% of the time effort which uh, people are implementing. At the same time, whatever the code, right? So almost they were having somewhere around 47,000 lines of code they have. So simply that time they were saving, right? So by decreasing 30% of the decreased time, and they are almost equivalent to 150 hours of time to write 47,000 of lines of code, they can reduce it. In addition to that, so 20 hours of saved time in application discovery analysis, because when we are implementing any application or deploying, so understanding about application analysis is one of the key and important element. So 20 hours they were saying there. So that can be that you can calculate with somewhere around 80% of time reduction. So in this process of outcome they were expecting, they have recognized the cost saving whenever they are doing some change management process by implementing. At the same time, they wants to assist the development team to more understand quickly about the application, followed by the kind of dependencies that are required in this, as well as if they wants to streamline and document faster, okay, for the new developers and all, so that they can understand what are the required business critical mainframe applications they wants to be transformed into the next level is something the outcome which organization is expecting. Apart from that, additionally, how and what updations you want to make in context to the change management and process documentation so that it will be helpful in mitigate misreporting to ISOs by implementing some generative AI solutions more effectively and more efficiently, time-saving capabilities, so that company can continue to invest on more on customer-centric focus by reducing the cost and other competitive pressures. So this is where generally being into learning perspective, while we are learning scenario-based learning is always important when you are moving towards career transformation stage. It's all about understanding about the scenarios and how this can be implemented. This is something essentially required. So when you are applying for jobs or when you are transforming your CV, resume, or as when you are applying for any jobs or when you are attending any interviews. So understandings about scenario-based learning when implementing AI, artificial intelligence, and generative AI is all required. So for that reason, this case study understanding is required and how this case study can be implemented in real world by using different tools as I stated that we are going to start from tomorrow onwards. Okay. So meanwhile, anyway, I'll forward this case study to you guys. Please go through this case study to have a better understanding. If you have any questions, you please come out of it. So that how this can be implemented in the next session, I'm going to discuss this one by one. Okay. Right. Thank you. Bye.